Hello everybody, this is Joel, aka Bourbon Dingo, and welcome to episode 6 of my second series on Let's Play Crusader Kings 2. Alright, during our last episode, we didn't actually expand our holdings any, but we did ensure that our wife remained the Duchess of Moray. And at around that time, I started remembering some of the various rules of the game, and I believe this is still the case, is that before she dies and this passes to my heir, well, before I die would be the most important thing, and this the duchy passes to my heir, what I need to do is create the kingdom title of Wales. Because if my son is still a Duke of Scotland, by the time he inherits my two duchies, he may end up switching to being a vassal of Scotland. But if we give him the king tier title, he'll match the level of Scotland, so we may not have that issue. Like I said, I'll be figuring that out as we go along. But that's one of our goals. And in doing that, what we're doing is building up the economic wealth so that we can generate a bit more money. And as you can see, the price for affording the kingdom is going down, though we are still working towards the 200 piety to create the kingdom. I'm going to get started again. There's not really been a whole lot of change. Ruthenia and Rus seem to be getting bigger. One of my kinsmen passed away. Taking a quick glance, what I may end up doing here is saving up the full amount I need to create the kingdom before spending any more money. My wife is pregnant one more time. We could possibly create quite a few children. She's still 28. We're about to have our 5th child. One thing I should take a quick glance at is look and see what the succession laws for the duchy is. The succession laws in the duchy are gavelkind, which means they'll be spread out among her sons, which means that I'm likely only going to get one county among this. Alright, the assassins are spreading. The Pope still likes me. I was just making sure. Currently, last time we checked, and we saw that both of our leaders surrounding us have been excommunicated. We're going to pause real fast. We have lost a member of our council. I'm not sure why. And as you can see, our options for Chancellor, very slim. It's not very good at all. So once again, we're going to pay close attention whenever we have anybody to marry off. We're going to try the possibility of matrilineal marriage. One thing I can do real fast is go in here and see if there's any claimants on the Duchy of Leinster. There's not. Dial back once more. Take a look at the County of Leinster if I can. Right there. We do have some claimants here, and I do have a couple people that are willing to join us. I don't have any de jure claim over it, however. And neither of the two I could invite are decent diplomats. So, let's take a quick glance at Dublin, then. No good diplomats. How about Ormond? As you can see, we don't have a lot of options floating around here for claimants. The one person willing to join us isn't very good. He's a great intrigue skill, however. Take a quick gander. Our best is a 12. I'm going to go ahead and invite him. We may not actually press his claim. And pause for one moment. And go ahead and appoint him to be my Spy Master. And that is a relatively high level for Spy Master. I'm going to award him an honorary title. That way he's a bit more liking of me. We're going to do the same thing we did last time. I'm going to go ahead and send him... Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him into Leinster to have him build a spy network. See if I can't get them to dislike each other. But we're going to let the clock keep running here while I keep checking. Seeing if there's any claimants with a high diplomacy that would be willing to join us. It is a higher diplomacy. Just lost 10 gold to being robbed. We have somebody willing to come over who's actually a very good steward. He is not willing to come over right now. Oh well. Like I said, we're going to let the clock keep running here. You keep checking. Nobody there is willing to join us. One person willing to join us, and he is a decent courtier, chancellor. I think I'm going to go ahead and invite him into my courts. Pause for one moment. Go ahead and appoint him. And we'll send him back into Leinster to attempt to get that for us. I'm still expecting at some point for this area here to implode because he doesn't have a lot of prestige. His state diplomacy is very low. We've had one person break off. Hopefully that's the beginning of other people joining. If it is, what I may do is wait for January, and I'll move him down into Devon or Cornwall. Alright, my wife is pregnant once again. It's only been a year since she was last pregnant. Okay. Had smallpox break out. Alright, and as you can see here, we have just witnessed the implosion of England. So what I'm going to do, and apparently we can't. Oh, I haven't created the Kingdom of the Kingdom of Wales yet. If I could create the Kingdom of Wales, defending against heathens. Strange. So I can't declare an excommunication war. I could on him, however. What we're going to do is wait until January. I'm going to move him over and try to fabricate a claim as this is occurring on either Devon or Cornwall to see if we can't snag those. See, we've gotten up to about 281 gold, but we're still 50 piety shy of what we need. Because we're that close, price has dropped down about 5 gold again, so we're at 370. Swinging out real fast, we can see that maybe, no, this is actually a separate area now under the control of Bedford. It isn't part of England. England, in fact, is only the original Normandy area plus 1 county in England. Now, we've gotten about 40 more gold, so we're catching up there. As you can see, King Philip is handily taking care of the independence revolt in Flanders. Alright, we're going to see if we can't jump him down into Devon real fast. Possibly take Devon. Probably should have started with Cornwall, to be honest. Okay, we just had another son born. Our Chancellor just had a son with his wife. And as you can see, he doesn't have many traits. He has 1 good education trait and the gluttonous trait. It's interesting. I'm used to seeing about this many traits on people. It's funny. His 9-year-old son has as many traits as he does. Okay, my uncle just died of the Great Pox. Currently an English succession crisis going on with, as you can see, everybody from England fighting King Robert of England. I'm actually slightly more surprised that someone didn't revolt against him in Normandy area. So likely be a good chance for somebody to come in, possibly from, let's say, Brittany, and retake Rennes, however you pronounce it. King Malcolm is still currently excommunicated. And I guess Prince William of Scotland, Malcolm Dunkeld. Must have been one of his children. No. Possibly his? Yes. Alright, the cook complains about my son's temper again. We're going to try and teach him to be patient. Doesn't seem to have actually done anything, though. He's still just zealous with a hare lip. And only 3 years to go, he's not going to increase much more here. So our heir is not going to be exceptional. Alright, taking a good hard look right here, we have... So we need to pay attention to issues that occur in Scotland to make sure that our wife continues to hold her position of power. It's a civil war to lower crown authority, and I'm actually hoping that passes. Alright. One of our courtiers passed away. While a whole lot doesn't appear to be happening with us, I'm still trying to make sure that those around me are not willing to lose the 50 prestige. But if I wanted to gain enough piety to create the Kingdom of Wales, I could easily go and attack him. We're going to go ahead and hold off on that for now. I'm also trying to make sure that my daughter, and that's one of the reasons I trained her, is one of the best heirs for Scotland as possible. Or is well built to become Queen of Scotland. One of our courtiers passed away. She was a drunkard and had the Great Pox. Apparently Great Pox is affecting quite a few of our courtiers. She is about 4 years from old enough, so we're just going to hand her off to someone. Tyrconnell is actually part of Norway now. That's a first. I'm not used to seeing anyone move into there. However, as I pulled back, you can see that now there's a crisis in Norway as well. And like I said, what we're hoping for is a quick claim to have been granted on Devon. And I'm at about 500 gold. What I'm going to do is spread the wealth a tiny bit. Trying not to drop too far below what I'll need to create the Kingdom of Wales once my piety jumps up. I think I'm going to take the prestige hit to declare an excommunication war on England. And for this, we're actually going to use all of our troops. I'm going to send them all into Oxford. I'm not sure that I'll be able to actually take anything from them, but we'll give it a test. And I can call in allies. Count Earl of Ormond will send some in. Scotland will gladly help. So I'm going to call both of them in on this combat. let's pause real fast. I think I'm going to see if I can't. I was not expecting him to have quite as large an army as he does, but we destroyed their morale relatively quickly, which I was not expecting. We have dropped a lot lower in the amount of soldiers than I was expecting to. As you can see, there's some smaller groups of soldiers building up here. I think I'm going to stay where I'm at, though I believe I should probably go and try to stop that group before it gets any larger. Currently, as you can see, the Scotland's not going to be much help when it comes to soldiers. I should be receiving someone possibly from, I believe, Ormond here shortly. My wife is pregnant once again. After I successfully siege this area, what I may do is run and, I don't know, because I believe I'll end up being counted as crossing a river if I go that direction. Ossory apparently, or the Count of Ormond apparently sent his soldiers down into Normandy proper. But there is 2,000 soldiers there in Normandy. Okay, we're going to try to make sure she remains brave. Or at least not craven. I'm actually losing a fairly large portion of troops due to the little siege events that keep coming up. But my current goal right now is to completely siege Oxford, and then I'm going to send my troops back into Wales to resupply, and then I'll continue sieging the various pieces here and there. Pause for a moment. Give him a good Welsh education. Send him to one of my counts. Somebody who believes he's a better court chaplain than my current. And he is, so we're going to go ahead and allow it. Pause for a moment to send him to improve relations within Minsk Dyfed, but that'll work too. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and construct a castle village in Dyfed. As you can see, we now only require 365 gold to make it. Okay, we finished the second siege. All these holdings were actually sieged to begin with by someone else who's in the succession war. against King Robert of England. What we're doing is partially trying to extend that war so it doesn't end prematurely, and then we have, you know, the entirety of the English force bearing down on us, but also because it helps us get closer and closer to assuring that he's ousted. We'll let him know that it's good to be kind. Alright. We only have one more thing to siege in Oxford. And after I finish the siege, like I said, I'm going to go back and replenish my troops. My heir is now of age, and he is not a very good heir. I may look to my second heir, who is not better at all. Third in line, could be, but he's far too young. So what we're going to do is, I guess, make sure he has a good wife. High diplomacy bonus, and not too old. Marry him off to the courtier in Lancaster. It's going to cause him to lose a little prestige, but he can gain that back relatively quickly. Before we do that, I want to take a quick glance and see if I can find somebody who might be a little bit better altogether. This is both an attractive, I believe we're going to set up this marriage. Now, he'll get that minus 100 for marrying the daughter of a count, but that gives us some good genetic traits. So we're going to go ahead and attempt to set that up and get back to what we were doing. Take a quick glance here at our military. You can see that we've replenished about 400 soldiers altogether. Alright. One of our counts passed away, and his titles passed on to my son. Not quite sure how that happened. But one of my sons, not even my first son, is now the count of oh no, this is about being a guardian. Okay. It's much better. It's his, likely his son that gained it. We're going to pause real fast, send off this betrothal. And reset. And I'll take care of him. We can gain 50 gold through it. We're going to go ahead and do that because gotten to a point now I'm going to come and probably purchase. As soon as that's done, I'm going to upgrade. Alright. We're going to tell our daughter that it's okay to be honest. Writer wants 20 gold to prepare our chronicles. I'll go ahead and give that to him. It'll give us a nice bump in prestige. Castle City's been finished, and we've jumped up to about 11. There. I think what I may do, looking at our monthly balance, we currently have a monthly balance of 6 left. I want to see if there's any possibility of pulling some mercenaries who aren't going to completely tank our monthly balance. We could hire one of them, and it'll give us a small malice to our total gold value, and as long as I get rid of them before we drop too far, it'll aid us in pressing our war against King Robert of England. So, looking here, we've done all this. I'm going to send them back into there. I'm going to, as I said, call up the Saxon Band of York. It's an 8 gold, and that wasn't as worthwhile as I thought it was. Should have paid a little bit more attention to the amount of soldiers that was in there. But we are going to, once he arrives, disband and recall up. I am, however, only going to recall up my levies this time. I'm going to pause, put them together, and I'm going to send them into Winchester this time. Actually, to extend the combat, I want to see how many troops he has in Kent. A little bit more than me. In that case, I'm not going to give their vassals a rest, their levies a rest. And we're going to get them to join us. We're going to make an attack and try to clear out his troops. There is a rather large group of his troops about to attack over there, but if they can catch each other and do everything as they need to, and I'm about to, thinking that she might fancy me, but that's not appropriate. We're trying to save up our piety currently. Alright, we've gotten them all together, and currently I am, I guess, in the process of sieging this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to siege the very first area, and then I'll move on into the next one. We're going to suggest that he try to be gregarious, though I don't believe he was. No. Perfect. I think I'm going to let this episode run a little long. I want to try and see, if possible, if I can finish up this combat and jump the speed up to about 4, but I'm going to pay close attention to make sure that I don't get attacked without paying attention. Alright, we've done that. I'm going to pause again real fast because what I want to do is right after this combat I want to attack England. So I'm going to drop the speed back down, and they'll win this combat handily, but I will come up right behind them. And my character died, so Duke Cadogan inherits. He was killed in battle. It was Baron William of Beaumont that did it. That's fine. Let's go ahead and deal with the pop-ups we had, which apparently isn't quite as much as last time. Send these... I'll actually go ahead and just train both of the children my father was training myself. Combat didn't end. We've won that battle. That does present one issue, and that issue is that we were a lot closer to our piety level with the previous king, but I don't believe that will be too much of an issue. Our father hadn't quite gotten a name yet, so he hadn't gotten his nickname. We are not currently sieging anything, so what I'm going to do actually is keep following these guys around. We're going to chase them out of the area I sieged. We're going to keep heading like that. If you look up here, my monthly balance is still positive. It's not great. The pretty wench is throwing herself at me. I can't resist her. I'll gain the trait of lustful, or I can gain the trait of chaste. I think I'm actually going to attempt to gain the trait of chaste. I didn't. We finished off a battle. We're still not sieging anything. And I'm going to keep harrying their troops. Alright. From here, I think I'll move back into... We're losing land. We'll suggest that she stays brave, and we'll start sieging again. So my next heir in line, who's worse than I am, has just become eligible to be married off. And I am going to try to marry him off, send him to another court. Possibly engage him to the Duchess of Burgundy. There is a large group of soldiers running around over here, and I am losing all of the areas that I successfully sieged previously. With little monetary gain. Pause for a moment and begin education of one of my sisters. And I'll have my wife do it. We just had an issue with... My council was still fairly good. Try to make sure that my uncle likes me a little bit. I'm going to appoint him to be the master of the hunt. We'll get him a little bit closer to being neutral with us. I had a daughter born, so she is now our heir on the off chance that I die. As you can see, she takes a little bit more after her mother than she does of me, but did not gain attractive or genius from her mother, so that's disappointing. One of the issues I'm actually going to run into here is we just had someone, our brother decided to leave our court to go to the county of Gwent. One of the issues we're going to run into is there's so many people fighting and so few areas that can be considered part of England that aren't just down here. And I have a feeling that any area we take over is just going to be gotten rid of by the next group that comes through. I may leave this just at a bit of a standstill, let it handle itself. One of our kin came of age, and she's fairly useless. We'll marry her off to the Baron of Tafalla. Taking a quick look, my wife dislikes me. I'd like to jump her opinion of me up to enough to where I can attempt to change her religion to Catholic. But yeah, Duke Llewellyn of Gwynedd died in battle, attempting to depose the excommunicated King Robert I of England. It's impressive. All I'm going to do is take the first area here and head back into my area. I'll stop pursuing this war and just wait for it to end however it's going to end. I really doubt that he is going to be able to succeed in this battle, so he'll be deposed, which means it'll end inconclusively, and the only thing we'll have lost is a small amount of prestige for pressing this attack. I don't think we lose any piety for it ending inconclusively. Alright, as you can see, we have successfully sieged one area. We seem to be sieging the other areas rather quickly. I'm going to start an assault here. Got a good 10-to-1 ratio on the areas we were sieging. You can see we're only up to 19%. We would have to move down here and start taking over from others, their troops. So all I'm going to do is move back into my area and call it for now. May end up doing is, since I have 4 counties that I can actually be in control of, I may give away Dyfed to someone that I can call for possibly the city of the county of Cornwall. There are a few claimants, but nobody that wants to join us. Let's take a look at Devon real fast. No claimants for Devon. Let's dial back on this real fast. The Earl of Shrewsbury, who is part of the Duchy of Hereford. I don't remember how I can check to see exactly what he controls. He appears to control all of these. So what I may try to do here is see if he has anyone in one of these 2 areas that I can pull in. He does, if I was willing to land a Saxon in my area. I could take that part in the midst of this combat. But I don't think I am going to. Alright, dialing back one more time. Scotland's still not doing well. Norway is in the midst of a is currently in a war to lower crown authority, and they've gained quite a bit of area. The Byzantine Empire is actually expanding much more than I'm used to seeing it expand. It is almost touching the Holy Roman Empire right now, and France has devolved into a a war over Duke Guilhelm's the 10th, his war for France. But like I said, we're going to go ahead and we've undone our soldiers, and we're going to go ahead and call it. This one's run quite a bit longer than I meant it to. Once again, we have changed rulers and are working our way up for our piety to create the Kingdom of Wales. We're not too far off, in hopes we get an option to keep increasing it. But I guess I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you during the very next episode. Thanks for watching.